But on 27 Jan, the life turned upside down. A phone rang and I picked up my Tauji's. It was my Tauji, and he told me that Babu, Papa nahi hai. And it's not easy to be an army officer's wife. She was not even able to sleep properly. She was given injections, and she was a diabetic person. At that time, her diabetes and blood pressure were borderline. So she was facing major health issues. She was not able to sleep properly. She was not eating anything. She was not able to stand, sit, nothing. She just went silent. She said that, Alka, the day Colonel M.N. Rai was killed in action, that very day, Mrs. Priyanka Rai had also died. The father of those two terrorists came out and he said कि sir, मेरे बेटे surrender कर देंगे, आप please इन्हें मारिए मत, please. He really begged to my father. Suddenly, crossfiring started. In that crossfiring, my father killed the two terrorists, and on 27 January 2015, Colonel M.N. Rai was killed in action. He was the commanding officer of 42 Rashtra Rifles. He had gained Youth Seva Medal and Shaurya Chakra. He was commanding in JNK in Tral in South Kashmir. Hello, I'm Alka Rai, and today I will be narrating the story of his life and what he was and what he has left with me. So he was a very simple man. I'm yet to come across a person like that who was so simple and he achieved everything in life, whatever he wanted. And while I was growing up with him, I saw him growing with this principle of simple living and high thinking. So as a child, I saw a lot of people around me who had like very chill relationship with their father, hanging out and stuff like that. But my father had set boundaries for us. I knew what my limitations were. I knew what his limitations were. And he was a very strict father, a very, very strict father. Like on weekends, we used to get up by 8 o'clock, and by 9 o'clock, all our house chores were done. And we used to sit on the study table at 9 a.m. and I used to study math. It was my weakest point. As a young kid, my father had gone through the same disciplined life which he taught us, and my grandfather gave him that same sort of upbringing. And my grandfather was a NCC teacher in one of the schools where he taught, and my dad used to wear his NCC uniform and roam around in Kalimpong. My father was born and brought up in Kalimpong. So he used to roam around and say that, one day I'll become an officer. And all three of these brothers, my dad had two elder brothers, and all three of them are in the forces. So what was mesmerizing about him was that he used to really take care of his buddies, the men under him, and he used to really respect them. As a high-flying officer, I'd seen very rare as the officers used to, really get mingled with the buddies and respect them at the same time. It's really hard to do that. He used to not wear bulletproof jackets. And my mother really asked him, why don't you wear it? And he said that until and unless my men aren't wearing, I'm not wearing. In his unit where he commanded, his office is kept the same. They have kept it as it is, and they've made another office for another officer. So anything that, starts good, bad, any new officer comes into that unit, they bow down to that office. मतलब कहते हैं कि वो मत्था टेकते हैं वहाँ पे, because for them, for his men, he has become God. And they really, really respect him till today. So he also taught me this lesson that when you give respect, irrespective of the fact they're juniors or seniors to you, you get respect. So when we talk about work-life balance today, I think my father had learned this way of living way back. When he used to leave his office, leave for his office by 8 a.m., do his work and come back by 5. I used to see officers, coming at 8 and being very stressed, being very tired. I never saw that in my father, because he knew what he had to do, and he knew what he had to do because he loved what he was actually doing. And one thing his colleagues told me that Rai ko na kaam prioritize karna aata tha, and it happened because he accepted himself the way he was. As a child, while I was growing up, my father he never came and told us that what work he used to do or where he used to go for operations and everything, whenever my mom used to call him or I used to call him, I'm in the conference, I'm in the meeting. and he never told us that he used to go for operations. And as a even my he made my mother believe that a commanding officer is not supposed to go to these operations, and like she believed it. He kept us away from all those fears. He never that the thought never came near to us that one day something will happen like this. And it just seemed the life seemed very perfect to me at that moment, because my father was, I didn't know like what work he was doing, but I was just happy that he was there. I've never imagined a life without him at that moment. It just never came to my mind. And I remember as a kid, I had this classmate in my school, and her father had just passed away in an accident. So I saw her and I was like, at least I have my family. Even though he's a strict father, even though he scolds me, even though he wakes me up on weekends, but I was happy. But on 27th Jan, the life turned upside down. And on 27th Jan, when I got up, I went to school. Life was treating me normally, and as I came back, I used to call my father after every test or after every exam to discuss my question paper with him. And I still remember I had my Hindi test on that day, and I hurried to the room and you know picked up the telephone, but the call didn't go. It was around 3 o'clock when I heard my mom shouting and howling, and I got up and I saw that she was on a phone call. After 5 minutes of just shouting, she kept the phone. She sat down. There was a sofa, and she sat on the floor. She banged on the floor. After a while, she went to the mandir. She had put sindoor, and she was praying to the god. And I was not able to understand what was happening. I was just not able to register anything. After that, another phone call came, and it said that ma'am, Rai is no more. And she just chucked the phone and she started crying. She cried. She cried. I was not able, as a kid, I was not able to understand. My siblings were sleeping in the other room. I was just not able to collect what is happening around me. Nobody was telling me anything. After a while, a huge crowd was gathered in our house, but nobody was telling me anything. And a phone rang, and I picked up my Tauji's. It was my Tauji, and he told me that Babu, Papa nahi hai. And I was thinking कि यार ये तो गलत है, मतलब पापा नहीं हो सकते. पापा, he was perfect. I mean, he cannot go like this. He cannot leave us. Until I saw him, until I saw the body, it broke me into pieces. It was something I never imagined life like that. I never planned life like that. And before that, I never knew what death was until I saw him, and I was crying. I was into tears. My sister was into tears. My mother was not speaking. She had not spoken for 3 days, 4 days. She was in a big shock. And when you see your parents very strict, very strong, you know, the way they carry themselves, and suddenly everything just came down. It came down to thrashes. It was very hard. But out of all four of us, one person whom I saw being very, very strong, and he was able to collect himself in a very proper manner, was my brother. And he was in first class, I think. He was supposed to live in life and enjoy life. You make childhood memories at that class, at that age. But he was handling responsibilities of his elders, and he was telling us कि हमें रोना नहीं है, हमें एक साथ रहना है. Especially my mom, when he was with my mother, he just didn't know how to say the word heart. So he used to say कि मम्मा पापा मैं भी पापा से बात करता हूँ, मैं इधर से बात करता हूँ, आपको भी पापा इधर से बात करके दिखेंगे. And my father used to pack his bag and give him chocolates. He used to do something really good. So he said कि फिर पापा आपको ऐसे शाबाशी नहीं देंगे, पापा आपको ऐसे चॉकलेट नहीं देंगे अगर आप ऐसे दुखी रहोगे, क्योंकि पापा आपको देख रहे हैं. Those words coming out from that little boy was scary and sad, everything at the same time, because that boy had really grown. In those 3-4 days, when the news broke out to us, My mother had gone into a very severe shock because, I mean, obviously, she was the one who had spent most of her life with him out as compared to all three of us. And my parents had spent 14 years together. And it's not easy to be an army officer's wife. It's not very easy to be an army officer's wife, but my father made it easy for her. And my mother at the same time supported him so that he can, become a high flying officer. So these two really understood what love was, and they grew understanding what love was together, and when my mother got this news, she was not able to collect herself. She was not able to stand properly, sit. She was just she was just shocked, and she was not even crying. I didn't see her crying or something. She was just silent. She just went silent. She didn't spoke to us for days. That lady, I just saw her, breaking down into pieces. And uh, when her colleagues used to, when my father's colleagues used to come and meet her, every time she used to say कि राय को वापस ले आओ, मुझे राय के पास ले चलो, मुझे राय के पास ले चलो, मतलब राय स्टेशन पे आ गया होगा, मुझे जाना पड़ेगा. And it broke me to an extent that I was not able to accept that, this can't be happening with my mother. I'm as comparatively I was closer to my mother, so it just broke me into pieces that, this can't be the result of my faith and love. But she was not even able to sleep properly. She was given injections, and she was a diabetic person. I mean, at that time her diabetes and blood pressure were borderline, so uh, she was facing major health issues. She was not able to sleep properly. She was not eating anything. She was not able to stand, sit, nothing. I mean, she just went silent. If anything happened, whatever she wanted to, whatever, she should just say कि राय को वापस ले आओ या मुझे राय के पास ले चलो. And that made me believe that somewhere or the other she was not able to believe that, this thing has happened with her. And it was more shocking for her, especially, because she had lost that hope. So when an officer goes for a field posting, a wife has that hope that life will get back to normal when he comes back, or life will be happier when he comes back, or it'll get track or be perfect when he comes back. But she had just lost that hope. After a month, I saw that lady really pulling up. She collected herself. She, from a very dependent wife to becoming a very independent woman and a mother. It was a very long journey for her. And one day I was just sitting with her and I asked her, Mama, how did you do all this? So she told me this one sentence, and I think that really inspired me in life. She said that, Alka, the day Colonel M.N. Rai was killed in action, that very day, Mrs. Priyanka Rai had also died. She was no more. What is left in her is now mother of Alka Rai, Richa Rai, and Aditya Rai. That's it. There's only motherhood left in me. There is no individuality left in me. My individuality was associated with your father. My love, respect, everything was associated with your father. So if he's not there, even I'm not there. I'm here because I have a purpose in life and I love my children. So there's only motherhood left in me. And that very sentence, it taught me that if she can do it, if that lady can do it, who had spent 14 years, who had given her love, her respect, her life to a person, and she has lost that person, then I think we three should make her life worth it. We three should make her proud. It's our very duty, it's our very purpose in life to make her proud. He got this, he had a local informant, every also had this local person to guide him. Uh, and he got this information that, few terrorists are hiding in a house. And he got this call, and then he cut the call, and it happened on Tuesday. So my father used to keep fast on Tuesdays. He used to not eat anything, just have his banana shake. So while he was having his banana shake, he got this call. And so whenever he used to go for operations with his men, or whenever he used to go out of unit with his men, there was a prayer they used to say. They used to take off their cap, keep it in their hand, and they used to say prayer. I was a kid when I saw it, so I really didn't know that what prayer they were saying, because That's the beauty of Indian Army when men of different religion, Hindu, Muslim, Christian, everybody all stand at the same platform and pray to the same God. Then they left for the operation, and the terrorists came. They captured the area, and obviously the terrorists came. The two terrorists came out of the house and said, "Ki either you surrender to us or we'll kill you." So there's this principle in Indian Army where soldiers follow, that is VAMS, winning hearts and minds. So the father of those two terrorists came out and he said कि sir मेरे बेटे surrender कर देंगे आप please इन्हें मारिए मत please. He really begged to my father. And since I told you that my father was a man of heart and he was a lovely guy, so and my father said कि ठीक है मैंने surrender करवा देते. And he was going on a call. He went to the call, and while he was on a call, there were two gates around him, and the two gates were really huge. Suddenly, crossfiring started. In that crossfiring, my father killed the two terrorists, and he himself got. There was a burst of bullets which got fired near his ears, and it just, just busted, and he was. He was killed right there and then. And there's one thing about him being a leader. He used to always lead from front. That's what his colleague always said, that कि राय हमेशा आगे से ही लड़ता था, हमेशा. He used to always lead from front. And in his tenure of commanding, there was no single battle casualty. तो उनके अंडर किसी भी आदमी को चोट नहीं लगी थी, एक खरोच तक नहीं आई थी. Despite of not having bulletproof jackets, despite of not having a special kind of security or protection, nobody got killed or nobody got injured. The first and the last bullet which came, or the first and the last person who got injured, that was my father himself. He protected his men like family. In 2015, my grandmother got really sick. He took leave. And he came, he treated her, he served he was very fond of his parents, he was very attached to them. He could go, कुछ भी कर सकते थे अपने parents के लिए. I remember when he was talking to my mother, he said this कि कल को मेरे माँ बाप खून भी मांगेंगे तो मैं खून भी दे दूँगा. I was always a kid who wanted to impress his father. Every time I used to meet him, I just wanted to impress him. And he was leaving at 7 a.m. in the morning. He had his flight. And I got a 6 in the morning. It was my holiday. I got a 6 in the morning. I sat on the dining table with a book. I was not even reading that book, but I just wanted to impress him. I just wanted to, while he was leaving, I just wanted to see that, his girl is studying and his daughter is studying and she'll do something good. And when I was leaving, he saw me and he packed my bag like, good paro. And we had this habit of when our father or mother used to leave somewhere or we used to come back from somewhere, we used to touch their feet. So I touched his feet and he gave me blessings, he gave me ashirwad. Khush raho. And that was the last moment I shared with him. Today, when I just want, when I think of that, I feel that, एक बार अगर hug ही कर लिया होता या एक बार बस हाथ ऐसे handshake ही कर लिया होता तो, but nothing happened. It was just that feet touch and that blessing and that his hand on my head and said कि अच्छे से पढ़ना. And I really wanted to, give this belief or, prove him that no, I'll score better marks, I'll top the exam, or I'll do something really great in life. But I was not able to prove that to him. And when he was leaving, I just felt like hugging him. Today when I think of that moment, I just feel कि यार एक hug तो बनता था पापा के साथ. Since I'm an army brat, the brat stands for born, raised, and transferred. For what is said to army kids. So as I was growing up, I really loved army life, and after my father, what army has given us, I think nobody could have given this if you would have served somewhere else, I believe. The kind of respect, the kind of love, the kind of security after after he passed away, what his family got is amazing, and in army you live with respect and you die with respect. That is, and while you're living also, every day you're given a life lesson, every day you're taught something, because you live in one of the harsh conditions. And when you are given those perfect conditions of life and you're with your family, you also believe कि मुझे अब इसे value कर लेना चाहिए, कुछ time बाद field posting में चला जाऊंगा. So that life in army really teaches you everything. It teaches you just how to live life and what is the value of life and discipline at the same time, which I believe, I think I cannot gain this sort of enriched experience anywhere except for army. And of course, my father, I really want to walk in his footsteps, because what he has done, what he has given to this organization, and what that organization has given to him and his family. Uh, my serving to this organization will be I think it won't do justice, but a word of thanks from my side, that just thank you for being with us and being there with us whenever we needed someone. And there's one thing about army, यहाँ पे कोई देखता नहीं है कि आप शर्मा हो, आप यादव हो, आप राय हो, आप ये हो, आप वो. Nobody sees this. You call for an help and everybody is there for you. So this organization really teaches you unity at the same time, how to live with people and how to listen to people's stories and how to get inspired from them. And I think that is all these stuff has motivated me to join this organization, because this sort of experience is very rare to live. I mean, I've rarely I've seen people living this adventurous life apart from the forces. जब आप अपने भारत की national security अपने shoulders पे लेके घूमते हो, that's a different kind of pride you carry. That's a different kind of star you're carrying. And that's a different kind of cap you're wearing. That's a different kind of boot you're wearing. So आप चलते भी हो तो आपके कदमों के नीचे boots होते हैं जो आपको एहसास दिलाते हैं कि you have a national security under you. You have a respectable responsibility under you. And yes, there are rough and tough situations, no doubt about this. But you make memories through those rough and tough situations. The training which you go through, the kind of friends which you make, every posting you make, you meet different kind of people. You meet people who make you understand how to deal with situations in different areas. I think that is one of the most important lessons in life I've learned. And army has taught me this, a very acute principle, that sometimes in life consequences can go wrong. Sometimes consequences can be negative, but the whole process cannot be wrong. तो कभी कभी नतीजे गलत हो सकते हैं, पूरा जीने का तरीका गलत नहीं हो सकता. लाइफ कुछ ना कुछ समझाती रहती है. And there's another section of Indian Army, the participation of women in the Indian Army, that is the army wives and the army sisters, the mothers. Without them, this organization cannot work. It just cannot function. Because the kind of love they provide to their soldiers, to their husbands, to their brothers, or to their sons, and that kind of surety that behind you, your family is being taken care of. They've been given the sort of love which you won't be able to give in your absence. We will provide that. We will handle your responsibility. That is, they handle the responsibility of two people at the same time. A father and a mother, or especially army wives, like I've seen them from postings to posting, they have to shift houses, they have to look after their children. That's very difficult. नए शहर में आके फिर से नया घर बसाना, फिर से admissions कराना. So that one aspect of surety which is given to the soldiers, that your family is being taken care of, that is a huge responsibility they carry on their shoulders. So these army wives, mothers, I'm very thankful to you guys, because you are forces behind the forces. So thank you for being with us through thick and thin. If I would have to say something to my father, that one last moment, one last time, अब please हमें ना छोड़ के आपको नहीं जाना था, आप हमारे साथ ही रहते हैं. We could have faced any difficulty, anything which would have come. I would have faced more in a more perfect manner if you would have been holding my hand today. And I would have, you know, learned so many things from you if you are with me, and or if you are just patting my back on my shoulder कि आज अच्छा काम किया है. And his last WhatsApp status said that जिंदगी में इतनी शिद्दत से निभाओ अपना किरदार कि पर्दा गिरने के बाद भी तालियां बजती रहें. And today he had proved that WhatsApp status जो वो गिर गया था. If he would have been in front of me, I would have said कि 1% quality भी मेरे पास आ जाती ना, 1% भी, I would have, I mean, my life would have been perfect. It just, there's no other word for this, no word less than perfect. And I said that we really love you. I mean, and Mama really, really loves you. I think if you would have if you have been with my mother, she would have been smiling today. She has lost the way she used to smile, the way she used to dress up. She used to wear a bindi, and she used to really, she was a woman who used to really love dressing up. So when she's today, she's not there. She's just, if you would have been with her, she would have been a stronger and a beautiful. She, I mean, today she is, but if you would have been there, then we've been a great family. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for teaching us how to live life in a very, very beautiful manner. We really love you.